I must admit that today is my first time to stand here. So many years back I used to pass through Jeevanjee Gardens, but this is the first time that I'm addressing fellow Kenyans at this venue. We are here with me is the chairman of Kenya Revenue Authority, the Honorable Nderitu Mureithi, yes, who is also the immediate former governor for Laikipia County, who is also my friend. We worked with him in Azimio Economic Council. He was my chairman in Azimio Economic Council, where we were 4 of us. So we are people who have worked previously. So I know this is lunchtime and you have sacrificed to be here to engage in this discussion. And I want to straight away take this opportunity to take about not more than 10 minutes, Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, to give synopsis and general overview why we are here. And then I will also invite my colleague, whom I'm sure will take slightly less than the time I will take. Then after that, we'll open it up for questions. Why I say that, actually we came to listen more than to talk. And I want to start away by saying that the positions that we hold are delegated positions. We are here courtesy of the people of Kenya. We have been given delegated authority. If it were possible, all Kenyans would be at the National Treasury signing documents and approving budgets or preparing budgets. But because it is not possible, a few of us would be privileged enough, courtesy of the people of Kenya, to sit in those offices. When we sit in those offices, therefore, duty calls on us to be accountable to the people of Kenya. Remember last year, we went through in this country something we have never experienced before. We almost had a civil unrest in this country. Why? Because there was perception among Kenyans that they were not being listened to, that nobody was prepared to give them a listening ear. We must do things differently. We must learn. We have learned. I have learned as the Cabinet Secretary in charge of National Treasury. That is why I have come here to engage with you early enough when the budgeting process is still at its very early stages, so that I can also hear from you a few things. Number one is what the Kenyans consider as priority in their lives. That is very important for us to inform the budgeting process. Number two is what are some of the challenges, especially in terms of taxation and tax measures. When you talk to Kenyans now, what is in the lips of everybody is that we are being overtaxed, and that the resources that we give the government, we don't see the value, that services are not being rendered. I want to engage you today to listen and hear from you. Apart from the challenges, apart from the problems, what do you believe would be the solutions to some of the challenges that we face as a country? Let me just take 2 or 3 minutes to break down a few things. When this government took over in 2022, there were a lot of challenges. One of them, and which is very critical, is the issue of public debt and debt servicing costs. This government took over at a time when budget deficit, as per the budget estimates of 2022-23, was 925 billion shillings, which is almost $1 trillion. Imagine an economy like Kenya borrowing a quarter of its budget every year to finance its activities. Number two, this government took over when already the government was showing signs of defaulting in paying Eurobond. I'm sure you are aware of this, which almost caused economic meltdown in this country. The shilling traded to 160 per dollar because of the signals that was sent to the economy that the government was going to default. And the window had been closed at that time. So that default, even though we avoided it, we must make sure, because going forward, some of you have heard me mention that Kenya, we will only have a breathing space between 2034 and 2048. Why do I say so? Because in 2027, there is going to be a